Coming live from the Tivoli Met Radio studio here on Auraria campus, this is All Sports with Gerardo. Thank you for listening to All Sports through Met Radio on mymetmedia.com, live every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. This is your host Gerardo, and all I talk is sports. On the show today, I am going to talk about breaking news, MLB baseball, and NFL football. To start off, since this is my first show, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube page or like my page on Facebook at All Sports with Gerardo, you'll see previous shows and videos posted on YouTube, or you can view my content on my Facebook page. To start off today, we got some breaking news here in Denver sports. This morning, Matt Holliday got called up from the Albuquerque Isotopes, and he arrived to Coors Field this morning. And believe it or not, Matt Holliday was also in the starting lineup for the Colorado Rockies today. I was really happy to see this. At the end of the trade deadline back in July, the Rockies were trying to make some moves, and they landed up getting Matt Holliday, but it was a minor league contract, and they wanted to give him a few weeks to get in the hang of baseball and to just get back to the form of being able to play up in the big leagues. So today's the day. Matt Holliday finally got the chance. The Rockies called him up. He's in a Rockies uniform. Matt Holliday has been my favorite player since I've been growing up. I'm glad to see him back with the Rockies, and I can't wait to see what he's going to contribute to the Rockies for the rest of the season. Moving on now, Denver Broncos owner Pat Bowlen was named a Hall of Fame contributor finalist. I'm finally glad that Pat Bowlen's a finalist to be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. Pat Bowlen definitely deserves to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's contributed so much to the Denver Broncos and across the NFL. He's definitely changed the Denver Broncos around. I miss Pat Bowlen. He definitely deserves this, so I hope in a few months Pat Bowlen's name will be the next name inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. We already got Jerry Jones inducted into the Hall of Fame. Pat Bowlen's turn to get into the NFL Hall of Fame, so just have to wait and see what happens there. Moving on now to baseball, I'm going to give you an update of every division in both the American League and the National League. So to start off, in the American League East, right now the Boston Red Sox are leading the division at 90 games. They're also the first team to reach 90 games this season. The New York Yankees are sitting 9.5 games back, so the Red Sox have gained the lead over the Yankees. In the American League Central, the Cleveland Indians are leading this division at 73 games. They definitely have a lead over everybody else in this division, and it would be a long shot to see the Minnesota Twins or any of these other teams try to even catch up to the Cleveland Indians. In the American League West right now, the Houston Astros are leading this division at 77 games, but don't count out the Oakland Athletics or the Seattle Mariners. The Athletics are only sitting 1 game back, and the Mariners are only 5.5 games back, so this is becoming a competitive division. Moving on to the National League right now. In the National League East, the Atlanta Braves are leading this division at 71 games, but the Philadelphia Phillies are only 2.5 games back. And even though the Washington Nationals are a long shot, they still have a chance, but I would count them out at this time. In the National League Central, the Chicago Cubs are leading this division at 72 games. But up until July, the Milwaukee Brewers were leading this division, but now we got the St. Louis Cardinals creeping up to the top of the division. They're only sitting 2 games back of the Chicago Cubs right now, and the Milwaukee Brewers moved down to 3rd place, and they're sitting 3 games back from the Chicago Cubs, so we got some competition here in the National League Central now. And finally, to save the best for last, the National League West, the most competitive division and my favorite division. Right now, the Arizona Diamondbacks are leading this division at 71 games, but don't count out the Colorado Rockies or the Los Angeles Dodgers quite yet. Right now, we got the Rockies sitting a game and a half back, and the Los Angeles Dodgers sitting 4.5 games back. Here with this division, it's going to come down to the end of the baseball season. Whoever plays better baseball will win this division. And looking at the wild card in both the American League and the National League, it's very competitive right now. I can't really tell you who's going to get the first spot or the second spot because there's so many teams. It's really going to come down to who wins their division, and whoever doesn't win their division, then they will be fighting for one of the 2 wild card spots. I know the National League wild card is very competitive, and looking at it right now, if you don't win your division in the National League, you're going to have to go for the wild card. But if you don't win the division, then your chances of getting into the playoffs are very slim. So hopefully my favorite team, the Colorado Rockies, win the division, because if they don't, I don't know what's going to happen, and it's not going to be as easy as it was last year. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens there. Also this week, Daniel Murphy was traded from the Washington Nationals to the Chicago Cubs. This is a good move for the Chicago Cubs. It adds another bat to their starting lineup, and he's definitely going to make an impact for the Cubs. And the Cubs are contending to get into the playoffs. They want to get back to the World Series, so this was a great move for the Chicago Cubs. And just this past week, 2 of my favorite players in all of baseball, Clayton Kershaw and Justin Verlander, had historic days. Clayton Kershaw recorded his 150th career win as a pitcher, and Justin Verlander recorded his 200th career win as a pitcher as well. 2 of my favorite players, 2 of the best pitchers, and some of the best players in all of baseball. So here comes the question. Is Clayton Kershaw and Justin Verlander going to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame? We will have to wait and see, but looking at their career and all the awards they have won, I definitely see it happening. So congrats to Clayton Kershaw and Justin Verlander. Good luck to you guys for the rest of the season, and I can't wait and see what else you're going to do. Moving on now to NFL football. Right now I'm going to tell you about every team that played against each other in the second week of preseason football, and I'm going to tell you the final scores of each game. So to start off, we had the Philadelphia Eagles go against the New England Patriots. The final score was the Patriots won 37-20. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers played each other. The final score was the Packers won 51-34. The New York Jets and the Washington Redskins played each other. The final score was the Redskins won 15-13. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Atlanta Falcons played each other. The final score was the Chiefs won 28-14. The New York Giants and the Detroit Lions played each other. The final score was the Giants won 30-17. The Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns played each other. The final score was the Bills won 19-17. The Miami Dolphins and the Carolina Panthers played each other. The final score was the Panthers won 27-20. The Arizona Cardinals and the New Orleans Saints played each other. The final score was the Cardinals won 20-15. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Minnesota Vikings played each other. The final score was the Jaguars won 14-10. The Oakland Raiders and the Los Angeles Rams played each other. The final score was the Rams won 19-15. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys played each other. The final score was the Bengals won 21-13. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Tennessee Titans played each other. The final score was the Buccaneers won 30-14. The San Francisco 49ers and the Houston Texans played each other. The final score was the Texans won 16-13. The Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos played each other. The final score was the Bears won 24-23. The Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Chargers played each other. The The final score was the Chargers won 24-14. The Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts played each other. The final score was the Ravens won 20-19. That's your final scores for every game in the second week of preseason football. So now I'm going to tell you every team that plays against each other in the third week of preseason football. So to start off, we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Cleveland Browns, the New England Patriots versus the Carolina Panthers, the New York Giants versus the New York Jets, the Denver Broncos versus the Washington Redskins, the Seattle Seahawks versus the Minnesota Vikings, the Detroit Lions versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Green Bay Packers versus the Oakland Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chicago Bears, Houston Texans versus the Los Angeles Rams, the Tennessee Titans versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Indianapolis Colts, the Atlanta Falcons versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins, the New Orleans Saints versus the Los Angeles Chargers, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Buffalo Bills, the Arizona Cardinals versus the Dallas Cowboys. So that's all the teams that are going to play each other in this week of preseason football. Looking into the third week of preseason football, the starters are going to play more. We get to see the starters more. We're going to also be able to see the backups, the third string, and the rookies drafted. So I'm looking forward to this third week of preseason football, getting another look at all 32 teams and all the new players on different teams and all the new players from the draft as well. So what to watch for this weekend? Just watch whatever game you can in the NFL. They're all good games, and I'm definitely going to be watching the Denver Broncos play as well. Moving on now, so Deshaun Watson was drafted by the Houston Texans last year. He played at Clemson. He won the college football championship against Alabama. He is one of the best quarterbacks in college football, but also he's going to have a really great career in the NFL as well. Deshaun Watson is definitely going to be a great quarterback for the Houston Texans. That was a great steal for the Texans in the draft last year. So unfortunately, Deshaun Watson tore his right ACL in practice last year, and his rookie season was over. But he wasn't mad or sad. He was determined to get back onto the football field this year, and he knew he would be back. And in just 7 games as a rookie, Deshaun Watson was a beast going up against defenses. Deshaun Watson had almost 2,000 yards, and he threw 21 touchdowns. In my opinion, Deshaun Watson would have been Rookie of the Year. He definitely would have deserved it. He's definitely going to be a franchise player and quarterback, and even become one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'm looking forward to Deshaun Watson returning back to the NFL this season. And don't doubt Deshaun Watson. He's definitely coming back, and he's definitely going to prove all the haters wrong. So stay tuned for the upcoming NFL season. The NFL season kicks off in 14 days, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a great time of year right now because you have both baseball and football playing at the same time. Baseball is very exciting because the end of the season's coming up. You get to see really great teams play each other. And teams that want to get into the playoffs, they're going to win games as well. The NFL season's approaching as well. You're going to have very good games at the beginning of the season. We're going to get to see the teams that were at the bottom of their divisions and see, are they able to win more games? Are they going to be at the top of their division? Are they going to be able to make it into the playoffs? It's going to be exciting. Who gets into the playoffs this year? Who gets to the Super Bowl? I'm looking forward to this season. I can't wait for it. I hope the Broncos play better this year. They look like they're going to. They got a quarterback now. They got a better team. They did really good in the draft as well. One of the best drafts they have ever had. So let's see what all the new rookies and all these new players that are on different teams, let's see what they can do. Moving on now to the end of the show. What to watch for this week. So tune in to the third week of preseason football. Just watch the games and watch the rookies, the backups, and the third string players, because depending on how they play, that's going to determine if they are kept on the roster or they are cut. So the fourth week of preseason football is around the corner. The time of year where every team cuts from 90 players down to 53 players and have a 53-man rosters coming up. So there's a lot of jobs in jeopardy as well, but players that get cut have the potential of making it onto other rosters as well. So are the Broncos going to cut Paxton Lynch? I've definitely seen enough of him. He definitely hasn't improved, so let's wait and see what happens there. I hope they keep Philip Lindsay, and let's see what else happens around the NFL. It's definitely going to be interesting to see who stays on the team or who goes to different teams. Also, looking ahead into baseball as well. Let's see if Matt Holliday's really back. Let's see what he can do for the Rockies. Let's also watch all these teams contending for a playoff spot. If they're going to play really good baseball, let's see what games they win, because the end of the season's approaching. This is the time of year that you really got to play the best that you can. Also, just a day ago, the 2019 MLB baseball schedules were released for every team, so start making your plans for next summer. The Colorado Rockies have a very good schedule. They open and close against really good teams. They play the AL East, so I'm looking forward to the Rockies playing the teams in the American League East. The Red Sox are coming to town. The Toronto Blue Jays, the Baltimore Orioles, the Houston Astros are coming back. They're going to be going to Tampa to play the Rays and to New York to play the Yankees. We open against the Los Angeles Dodgers. We close against the Milwaukee Brewers. We also are going to play the Arizona Diamondbacks in Mexico during spring training. There's going to be games played outside of the U.S. back in Mexico. You're going to have the Boston Red Sox go against the New York Yankees. That rivalry is going to continue in London next summer. I'm looking forward to that. So I'm definitely looking forward to the end of this baseball season, but I'm already making plans for next year's baseball season. I'm also going to get in depth and tell you guys about Clayton Kershaw and Justin Verlander's career and tell you, are they going to get into the Hall of Fame? They're definitely worth getting into the Hall of Fame, so I can't wait and see what happens. They're definitely my favorite players as well. Another thing too is, please subscribe to my YouTube page or like my page on Facebook at AllSportsWithGerardo. There you will see videos on YouTube of me standing outside of stadiums or inside of stadiums. I show you stadiums here in the Denver area and outside of Colorado. I did some videos in Florida a few weeks ago. I also have shows from the studio where I done my own show to talk about sports, but now I'm going to be doing the show here in the Met Radio studio here in the Tivoli on Auraria campus, so stay tuned for that as well. Check out those videos on YouTube. There's videos from stadiums and shows. So if you have a chance, check out my background video. If you don't know who I am, I'm Gerardo, and you'll be able to get an idea of why I like sports, why I talk about sports, and you'll get to know a little bit about myself as well. So every week going forward, every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m., tune in to All Sports with Gerardo. All I talk is sports, so I'm looking forward to the future. This is the first show. There's many more to come, so stay tuned. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that listens to All Sports through Met Radio here on mymetmedia.com. Until next time, this is Gerardo.